Hey now, so back another video, and this is a serious video. How do you know it's a serious video? Because I'm going to put on my glasses. That is serious. Now we're talking to CPA Frank Reinstein. So what I want to talk about today is what I look for whenever I buy an autograph, in person, whatever. We'll get to that in a minute. So I know we do a lot of autograph analysis here, but I collect just autographs, mainly baseball. Doesn't matter why. But before I buy any autograph, there's a series of things that I always look at. And God, there's been a lot of controversy about chasing cardboard. And I don't really want to get into the controversy except to say this. I've met Mike many times. I've spoken with Ty many times. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. We talk. All I deal with is opinions, like buying autographs. They're two of the best guys in the hobby. They are generally good guys. I don't want to get into the Rock incident, the Ty Cobb incident. All I will say is I can speak wholeheartedly, and I feel for certain when I say what they did was not done with malice. Was a mistake made? Maybe. I don't know. I can't speak into their mindset. But was there malice involved? Absolutely not. And I would have no qualms or hesitations ever to doing business with either of them. They are both like generally great guys. Okay, enough of chasing cardboard. So what I do for a living is I'm a CPA. I do taxes and I do audits. And I don't want to bore you a lot with audits, but audits are kind of like autographs and TPAs. They're all about giving opinions. This is what I do for a living is I give opinions. And in order to give an opinion, which people put their faith in, and people, I mean, I've done billion with the B dollar deals based on my opinion. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm trying to tell you the importance of what I do. And all you can do before you give into an opinion is put as much like research and sampling and testing and analysis as you can at the end of the day to make a qualified opinion that what you're opining on is correct. Is it always 100% correct? No, that's why it's an opinion. It's not a fact. Auditors give opinions. We don't give facts. And it says so whenever we get a letter. You can go out there. You can look at eBay's 10K or anyone's 10K, anyone's audit report. It always says, based on our opinion, not based on facts, based on our opinion. So I'm not going to talk any more about opinions except to say that I know what it takes to give an opinion in certain high dollar value areas. Now, granted, autographs, I don't want to get the baseball cards. I'm just going to talk about autographs, are not as probably high dollar value as some of these audit opinions, not so much on the line. But it's still really important to take as much information as you can it is in order for me to make my opinion on whether or not the autograph is worth buying. And I'm not talking about price. I don't want to get into, if the price is too good to be true, it probably is too good of a deal. I mean, I don't want to even get into that. Ignoring the price, usually when I see an autograph, I know whether or not, very quickly now with baseball autographs, especially of the high profile players, whether or not it's good. And if not, I'll do my research. And again, the more rare an autograph is, or the more like the prone it is to forgery, not that I would buy a mantle, like from Mantle, for example. That's what I am looking for. And that's the stuff I'm going to go into. So I wanted to share today, and this could be a little bit of a longer video, but I think it's important what I look into before buying an autograph. And the only way I knew how to do it was by making a PowerPoint presentation. God, my job's like creeping into my life here. So without any further ado, let's go into that right now. I want to share my screen here. So this is my PowerPoint presentation of what I look for when buying autographs. So again, these are especially baseball autographs. I don't know nearly as much as other sports. And I mean, I sort of hold these true, but I really don't dabble into areas I'm not real comfortable with. So, I mean, the number one rule for me, we'll go through these point by point, is buy the autograph, not the cert. And I can't say that so many times that TPAs get it wrong. I mean, again, they're giving their opinion. Granted, most of the time, I hope it's an educated opinion, although sometimes I question it. But at the end of the day, it's still opinion. It is not fact. So I want to give you some examples of that real quickly here. I want to go down. So this is the PSA autograph fact. And I've already talked about Camp Anson in a video. And everyone is pretty much determined. This is on PSA's website. You can look at this right now. this is a Cap Anson autograph according to PSA is good. Now, the only problem with that is like every known person, I bet you if you ask Kevin Keating under oath today, head of the PSA, do you think this is a good autograph of Cap Anson? He would say no. I don't know why this is out there. I mean, we've learned, we being people in the autograph industry, especially the vintage dealers, have learned so much about Anson's autograph now that a couple more have come out that it's all pretty much a given that this was secretarially signed. I mean, everyone is pretty sure this is secretarially signed. PSA makes mistakes. I don't know if they admit to it as much. For the longest time on their Autograph Facts website, there's a very rare Hall of Famer named Ed Delahunty. And there's probably 2 or 3 of his autographs known to exist. He died falling off a train under mysterious circumstances. I'm going down a rabbit hole. Forget that. Bottom line is the autograph on their website, Autograph Facts, had his last name spelled wrong. And they still said it was real. Now, say what you want by Big Ed Delahunty. He knew how to spell his name. So, and I had a previous video somewhere about that where he didn't. So, and like it was secretarially signed, and finally PSA pulled it down with such a blatant error. But another much more common thing, and this is interesting to me, is again, this is on the PSA autograph website. You can look this up. This is Christy Mathewson, 1 in the 9th. Now, everyone is determined that these 1 in the 9ths, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that these were secretarially signed. So much so that Jimmy Spence of JSA, again, one of the top 3 authentication companies, I'm not going to rank them here, literally put out a statement that this is, again, I can't find it anymore. I had to go to Halls of Shames. Peter Nash, again, I don't want to get into the history of it, but this is a quote from Jimmy Spence that Peter Nash pulled down. I can't find the original. You got to trust me, it's true. These 1910 book plays adhere to the covers of 1 in the 9th, came under scrutiny. These numbered approximately 500 presentation copies have been typewritten large bubbles with a secretarial black fountain pen manuscript. So literally he shows a picture and says, guess what? These cannot be trusted. Even though earlier Jimmy Spence put out an opinion that these can be trusted. He's gone back on it and he said so himself. Yet PSA still keeps it out there. So again, you still have to do your research when it comes to autographs, especially with these expensive ones. And there's going to be hundreds of these 1 in the 9th base books out there that people think are real that have now would not pass authentication. We know more about the autograph. With time comes more information. So I think that's really interesting. So again, I want to I'll get to the TPAs more, but the TPAs aren't perfect. I know Steve Grad. I've had conversations with Steve Grad. I've literally written Steve Grad. I don't want to get into which ones, but like, listen, your company, I'm not saying he did, but Beck had passed an autograph and I don't think it's real. And he's come to me and said, Frank, you're right. After he looked at it and studied it. And I think he even went back in the database and changed it. He wants to be right. No one's purposely saying, oh, I want this to be wrong. I'm trying to get a not pass. You know what I'm saying? It's trying to get you a bad autograph. So, I mean, it happens. So again, we're going back to my little screenshot here. So again, get in person whenever possible. And again, this is something I live by. I have traveled around the country getting autographs in person. Pujols, when I knew he was going to be a Hall of Famer, he did one signing in Kansas City. And like I traveled to Kansas City in January to get his autograph. I go to the National, I still go every year, but like I used to go just to get the autographs. Whenever I can, I get an autograph in person. Sometimes that involves me getting a friend to go in and get the autograph in person. But if I get it in person, I can get it in person. And if not, I get a first-party authentication. So, and I want to get to that in a second here, what first-party authentication is versus third-party authentication. So I want to give you my ugly matte frame here. First-party authentication is usually the MLB holograms. They show you where and when it was signed. Usually the Fanatics. Many of the Fanatics will have MLB holograms with them. In the President's autographs at PSA, Beckett Witness, JSA in the President's. Those are all first-party authentication. Like someone was in the room, swore on a stack of Bibles that was signed in front of them, and they're like millions of dollars of reputation on the line. Like I recently bought an Ohtani autograph that I get MLB and Fanatics certified because I don't know if I'll ever get to Ohtani. It was a good deal. And sometimes you just can't get them anymore. Before they would do a signing here or there, now they don't. So, but the problem now is, and again, I want to share this. Because again, whenever there's money to be made, there will be forgers. So, and again, this is from Outer Safe. They do a great job. I mean, I don't want to knock them at all. They do a great job. So And this is a Fanatics with a Fanatics hologram, no MLB hologram. And Jeter should have both, by the way. But not even the Fanatics is the MLB exclusive for some of these. Bottom line is, like, forgers now are faking Fanatic holograms. You have to be so careful, which, again, they're faking PSAs, they're faking Fanatic certs. Like, be so careful. I mean, if you can, scan the barcode before you do it. Again, make sure that, like, it goes to the Fanatics website and everything checks out. I mean, so again, going back to my thing right here. So get first party authentication. Usually when I do that, it will be MLB authenticated. If not, I have gone before where I know that someone's signing at a store now and I can't be there, and I'll call the store. I did that for Scott Rowland, for example, right before getting the Hall of Fame. Fan Caves in St. Louis brought him in. I knew he was going to be there. I mean, his JSA. I always get to pay extra to get the JSA or whatever, the first party authentication, not third party, first party. When I say first party, I mean someone from a legit company is there witnessing the autograph being signed, is putting their name to it. They're acting as an agent on behalf of the company, and if it turns out it's fake, I can sue them. And I mean, watch my Rock Haru video. There's a great example why that first party authentication is so important. So my third rule is I avoid cuts whenever possible. And that includes cards. And when I say cards, I'm not talking about certified cards you pull in packs. I'm talking about people that claim they got the cards in person. And again, not so much as recent cards. And again, I don't collect older signed cards. I think the premium on them is insane to me personally. But like, yeah, like the older cards, they've been like all these T206 cards. If you were a collector, there was a big controversy. They found out all these autographs were fake. When I say all these, we're talking a handful, less than 100. But again, flat surfaces just in general are easier to forge items on than baseballs or other things, which we'll get to in a later. And again, it still bothers me that I have some autographs that are, I got to find my stream here. It still bothers me that I have some autographs that are on flats that are not all like 100%. I could have the Provenance out, like the Roy Campanella right up here. At the end, it's a flat autograph. Now, again, before I bought that, I did a ton of research into it. I studied the angles and everything. I learned all I could about Roy Campanella. I know when that was signed. There's a date on it, which I framed out, and everything lines up. So again, but like other than that, I would say I'm down to maybe 4 cuts in my entire collection, including that. When I say cuts, I mean it's not dated. I don't know when it was signed. I know really nothing about the autograph. I'm kind of trusting more of the TPA in my own research than I am the actual history of the autograph itself, because I can't really get the history on that. So again, I want to go back to my little PowerPoint right here. What's number 3? Beckett PSA JSA certs are not bad. Again, when all else fails, I'd rather buy something with a cert than without it. But again, see the first point. Buy the autograph, don't buy the cert. Just because it has a cert, again, they're starting to fake them, not so much, but it is possible. But again, just I've seen it. They all make mistakes. They admit they make mistakes. They're not perfect. So again, but if you're buying a Mantle, I mean, the top 3 are very good at knowing we talked about the Marino forgeries before. They're all very good now at knowing a good Mantle from a bad Mantle. So if I were to buy a Mantle, well, first I would buy an Upper Deck one because that has the first party authentication. It's probably one of the first ones ever to do a first party authentication. But if I weren't buying an Upper Deck Mantle, I would definitely want one that came with a third party TPA. But again, I know Mantle pretty well, so I'd be okay with it. My 4th point or 5th point right here, whatever, is check the provenance and the history. And again, this is why when I buy things, I try so hard, and I mean so hard, to buy things that are dated. That way you can check stuff. Like if you look behind me, I have checks. Literally, I say check stuff. I have checks everywhere. I love buying checks. And I know one guy, that's all he buys is checks, because that's like in government postcards and like contracts and documents. Those are really tough to forge. I mean, if the forger's going on his way, it's like so tough and it's so easy to prove, and it's like dated and everything. That's why baseballs are more common to forge than like documents like that, because the baseballs, you don't know when it was signed. You know what I'm saying? The forger knows that. He can document a Babe Ruth 1927 version versus a 1937, 42 version, whatever. So, I mean, there's no dated baseballs, stuff like that. And again, so, I mean, like going back to like my Clemente autograph, I bought that straight from the family. You know what I'm saying? Hunt sold that. It's got the whole family to sign it. My Jackie Robinson check over there, again, comes from with the letter from Rachel Robinson when they dispersed the entire collection. I have a really cool Bill McKechnie up here one day we'll go into that. Like the provenance is outstanding. It ties directly to the related magazine right next to it. So again, you're going to pay more for the provenance, but to me, it's worth it 11 times out of 10. So that's really important to me. So again, going back to my little PowerPoint slide, the year and the studying, and that goes back to the Campanella that I was talking about. I know it was a rookie year. When I said rookie year, his first year with the Dodgers, signed autograph. And I know you can look at other examples from the year and try to get comfortable with the cut and the study. And again, it's like Mano, you just have to know the ins and the outs. If you don't, yeah, you can. I hope you watch these videos. These videos are trying to help the hobby. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm sure I made mistakes along the line, and I'll be the first to admit that. But it's better than nothing. The fact that you're watching this video means you're trying to do good with the hobby, or you're trying to do good foraging. I hope not. That's the case. So, but again, do all the research you can, and it's almost like the more money you spend on an autograph, the more research you want to do. But again, it goes back to what I said before. Something is good to be true for the price. It probably is. I did get burned once really bad because I didn't do my analysis. I trusted a book, which turned out to be, I can't wait to get into that autograph. So yeah, I did get burned once really bad. So, and again, that goes back to the next point is know the seller. Just don't automatically trust the seller. And again, I mean, there's so few autograph sellers these days that sell vintage autographs. There's probably like a handful of baseball. I would say 2 or 3. And I know them really well to the point. I'm not talking auction houses here. I'm talking actual sellers that you can buy from directly. And I know they stand behind their autograph in the sense that, for example, Jim Stinson, a longtime seller, one of the hobby pioneers, in my opinion, great person. He sold an autograph. He guaranteed it for life. I know someone that bought an autograph. I'm not saying it was fake. I'll say it didn't pass authentication. Automatically refunded the money, no questions asked. That's like, that his reputation's on the line. This is all he do. He's not a fly-by-night seller. So that's so important. And he's even said that he's like, if it fails any reputable, keyword reputable, third-party TPA, he'll refund the money. So, and all you can do at the end of the day is minimize your chances of buying fakes to near zero. I mean, unless you're going to see the autograph signed first person, it'll never be zero. I mean, you just have to remember that you take to a point that you're really comfortable with it. So again, that's like when I go back to my audit, the point is to get like a 95%, let's say, confidence rating, not 100%. Nothing really is 100% in life, but you got to get to a point where I feel comfortable, like that I can spend the money to get it. And that's how I go about getting autographs. I mean, that's really what it is. So again, I will pay a premium to buy. I don't have to buy the story, not this much as the history. I don't care about a story, to be honest. It's not a cut or a baseball, but like Roberto Clemente's signed loan document with the envelope that he mailed it in to his address and everything, is postmarked and canceled. You're going to pay a premium for that. There's no question about it. But it increases your confidence level, Roberto Clemente, exponentially more, in my opinion, than the cost. So to me, it's all worth it. So I hope you took something out of this video. My email address is all around. You can find it. I'm always happy to look at autographs. People have questions before they buy it, and give, again, my educated opinion. Am I right 100%? I'm sure I'm not. But again, I look at everything. I study it, and I use facts and things that I know to feel confident in, and I render an opinion, like hopefully what everyone else reputable TPAs do. So if you made it through this video, congratulations. You don't get a prize, except you get more knowledge. You get more time with me. So hopefully this weekend I'll shoot Lefty Gomez autograph analysis. So that's it. As always, keep collecting.